This week we're in central Alberta hunting mule deer. Stay tuned.
We're out here for our annual hunt. I'm out with Matt and Kyle, and we stopped in a little spot here where we saw a couple of deer bedded down. This year I got a muley tag, and so we're kind of focusing on that right now. But it's pretty bleak this morning. We're not seeing too much, but we're gonna keep on trudging on, and who knows, we gotta keep looking. You know, keep looking, and persistence will pay off.
With little activity during the day, we had decided to focus our evening on a particular valley where we had seen a high number of mule deer through archery season. It didn't take much walking before we came across this buck. With his antlers hidden in the branches behind him, we wanted to try and get a better look. Upon closer inspection, we were able to confirm that this was the same buck that I had stalked in velvet during archery season. With an extra split on his back left fork, coupled with a crab claw on his front left fork, this was a buck I would have been proud to have harvested with my APA. Unfortunately, during my stalk, the wind had swirled. Although in range, I wasn't given the chance to get drawn or take a shot. I could only watch as he bounded towards the security of the valley. 6 weeks later, and I find myself watching once again as this buck makes an exit. The difference being that this time it wasn't circumstances, but rather a choice not to shoot. This early in the rifle season, with plenty of days remaining to hunt, Darrell had made the decision to let this buck walk.
Came across a nice muley. The boys had their eye on for quite some time now, but there must be 30 or 40 muley does around, so we think they're going to stay tight in that valley and give it another shot tomorrow.
The Fever is brought to you by Stampede Toyota, APA Archery, PJ Trailers, Stealth Cam Digital Scouting Cameras, Traeger Wood-Fired Grills, Vortex Optics, Affordable Hydrovac, K&K Food Liners, Al's Hot Shot and Trucking Services, Domax Construction Equipment, Smith Game Calls, and these other fine partners. This segment of The Fever is brought to you by Stampede Toyota. This segment is brought to you by Al's Hotshot and Trucking Services and Affordable Hydrovac.
So we spotted 2 does bedded on the hillside here with a nice buck behind him. He was about 800-900 yards off, so we got the vortex spotter on him. And based on his frame, he looks like a shooter. So I've called my cousin Joel and Uncle Jerry. We got them on point where the deer naturally move through here because he was starting to head that way. Unfortunately, they don't have a camera on them, but we have a camera here. So we're gonna work our way on this ridge here and maybe get a crack at him over these hills here. If not, he should go that way to them and they should be able to get a crack at him, but we'll work this edge here and see what we can come up with. So follow. I just seen the inline buck. It's a different buck than we first spotted on the hill. He's heading that way to Jerry and Joel. I don't know if we're gonna get a crack at him, but we just heard a shot. It sounded like a whack. Joel and Jerry are up ahead where the deer was headed, so most likely it was them. Hopefully they made a good shot. We're gonna get back to the truck. We got about a 500-yard buck. Back to the truck, circle around, and get back to where Jerry and Joel are and find out if they got a hit or what's going on. So, just got back to the truck here. Checked my phone. It said they got one down. I'm not sure which one it is yet, but nonetheless, both deer we've seen were big. I'm hoping it's the inline buck because we have a lot of history with them. We watched them all summer and hunted. They're about probably 700-800 yards from us right now. So we'll drive over there and get with them, find out what they got down. But either way, it should be a good buck. That's the biggest one we were after. That's him. So we were coming in our regular area. We've been hunting all fall and late in November, early November here. And coming down the main where we got a good vantage point. We looked out, we seen 2 white-tailed does, and bedded off behind them was this guy. It's a buck we call inline. He's got inlines on all his forks. So I knew Joel and Jerry were over here. I told Joel and Jerry to come to this hillside because the buck was working this way. We've seen him do it numerous times. Joel and Jerry got up on point here. We kind of crept in this way. We knew he was funneling through here. Came out for Joel. Joel made a great 300-yard shot. And here lays the buck we call inline. He's the best one we've been after all year for muleys. And we're pretty excited to go put our hands on him, but we got lots of phone scope footage of him in the summer in Velvet. Me and Mark and Matt stalked him hardhorn in late September, I think it was. And yeah, he was our #1 buck on our hit list for muleys in this area. So right on, Joel, nice shooting.
Thanks, Kyle.
Joel, well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Ready to go take a look at it?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go.
Last night we were looking at pictures of Matt, was like, I can't wait to get my hands on that deer. Right on, buddy. We were looking at him in the camp last night, got all the phone scope pics of him, and Matt was saying he's just dying to get his hands on him, so maybe we'll let Matt get a turn to hold his antlers here and I'll get behind the camera.
This is the inline buck. This is a buck we've been watching since August. We have plenty of pictures, phone scope of him. Me and Mark got on a couple stalks with the APAs on him. We weren't able to get it done, but definitely a buck that was on our radar, and we've been watching and circling this area hard, trying to get eyes on him. And this morning, Kyle and I and Darrell were out and we spotted a nice heavy deer, and we got Joel on point here who has his muley tag, and he just laid down this beautiful 7x7 inline buck. Wow, what a beautiful buck. That is awesome. Congrats.
Thanks.
That's a hell of
Thanks
a
for
buck,
everything.
buddy. He is a beauty.
This segment of The Fever is brought to you by Vortex Optics.
It's November 23rd today. Matt and I are out We're looking for a particular mule deer. We first seen back in August. We got some phone scope footage of him through the Vortex spotter when he was in full velvet, just a little bit to the west of us in a different valley. Recently, Matt, a couple of my uncles, and my cousin Nick spotted him about 2 miles from where we originally seen him. Up till then, he's been a ghost. We haven't seen him or any word of him, so we figured he might have been shot or whatnot. But we have seen him recently. They saw him 2 days ago in the evening. They saw him yesterday morning. So we're back in the same valley now where we've been seeing him, and hopefully we can lay eyes on him. But he's a real heavy 4x3. He's a 4 on his left. He's got a small front fork, but his frame is really big, wide, heavy, high. He's a pretty impressive deer. He's old. His body's just enormous. So he's pretty smart, but hopefully with the rut going now, they're chasing the does. He'll slip up and we'll get eyes on him. So we've been sitting on our high vantage point for about an hour now. We've seen a few does kind of working through the trees, a couple little bucks, nothing too impressive. Got a couple does bedded. They are getting up periodically to stretch and stuff, so hopefully we just keep a good watch on it, and one will stand up for a little afternoon stretch, or go cruise for look for some does. But there's definitely a lot of deer in this valley, so if we put in the time, we should hopefully get eyes on something, and hopefully it's that big 4x3 that we've been looking for, because he's a really nice deer. We've been sitting watching this same spot for over an hour now, and something that has been there the whole time that we haven't been able to see, just with the sun moving, caught a reflection of an antler in the bush, and it is a good buck. It's one that we have seen numerous times. We passed on him earlier in the week. Matt located him first thing this week when we got out here. He's a nice, heavy, kind of compact 4-point, and both his main beams kind of turn down and point straight down. But he's a good deer, but not quite what we're looking for. But we do have eyes on him now. He's with a bunch of does, so just shows you that something that has been there the whole time, can just appear with the changing of the light. Having this Vortex razor spotter sure lets you bring him in close. That deer's easily 1,200 yards away right now, and I can bring him in and see his points and tell what deer he is right off the hop. So good to see, but we'll keep our eyes peeled and hope to find the big guy.
Is that something else down there below him?
Okay, we just had a big buck come out of the bush down low. We were able to get the phone scope on him real quick. We have confirmed that it was the big 4x3. He just came out of the bush, did a tight little circle, and then tucked back in. So I got to get in touch with my dad now, get him here. Me and Matt are going to draw up a play of what we think will work the best, and we'll go from there. But right now we have eyes on him. We know he's in the valley. It's time to get the guy with the tag here and make something happen. So stay tuned.
This segment is brought to you by StealthCam digital scouting cameras and Domax construction equipment.
We've seen the big buck moving through the bottom of this valley. He circled around, following a doe. We're down on a low spot right now, so we can't see him. But then he made his way back this way. He's working his way towards this big slough bottom behind us. So me and Matt are going to get in a little better position. We actually got my dad up on point on the other side behind the slough bottom. He's waiting. He knows where the deer is. He can't see him right now, but he knows the way the deer is working slowly. And we just got to wait here and hope the deer shows himself and my dad's able to get a crack at him. So we're going to get set up just a little further and watch it all unfold. So stay tuned. We hunted this valley a lot this year, and this is actually the same valley that Joel took his muley in with us a couple weeks ago. We know the way the deer travel. From when we originally spotted the big 4x3, he cruised through the low spot into the other section of the valley, but now he's making his way back to where we'd first seen him. Like I said earlier, we got my dad up on point. There's kind of a pinch point on the slough bottom where he's going to funnel this edge of the slough bottom between tall grass and trees. My dad won't be able to see him in there, but he knows he's coming through there, so hopefully he can get eyes on him when he crosses a low spot or something. We can see the deer right now. He's just funneling along the edge. He's really hard to see. He's about 600 yards from us. There's some tall grass, so every once in a while we can just see his head come up as he works the edge of that slough bottom. But they do travel through here all the time. My dad's well aware of where he is. He can't see him right now, but hopefully he's able to get eyes on him eventually and get a crack at him. So right now it's just a waiting game. Everybody's in position. We're going to film from here. We don't have a camera with my dad, but we can film the deer very well from here. And we'll just see how this all pans out. Hopefully we have some luck. Still coming.
Keep coming. Yeah, as long as he's coming.
The buck is working its way towards us in the slough bottom. And I apologize. I'm doing everything I can to get this deer in frame. I'm testing this camera's zoom capabilities to the limits. It's a long ways away, but it is coming towards us. So if it continues to do that, hopefully Darrell gets a poke here. That's definitely the buck, though. That is definitely the big frame. Oh, yeah. He is nice. He is nice. Did he put his head down again?
Yeah. Still coming. I'm going to come right to the open spot. Okay. It's been about 25 minutes. We've been watching the deer. He's in the same spot. He's in the bottom of the slough bottom, working the back edge along the bush. He's moving very slowly, but he is coming closer. We lose sight of him periodically from time to time, but he continues to work his way this way very slowly, very cautiously. It's just a waiting game right now. We just got to hang tight and hope something happens here. Exciting though. The deer has changed his direction now. He's going through the bush. He should be going through a low spot anytime in a clearing where my dad should get a shot. So we're going to get Matt the camera on the deer. The deer working through the trees. We should hear shots soon, so hopefully we get lucky here. You should be able to see him now. He lifted his gun. He's gonna shoot.
Oh, they whacked him, I think.
Hit him again. Oh, he hit him hard there.
They smacked him there.
Oh, he's hit hard. He's coming back towards us. Oh, I can see the blood. He's hit right in the lungs. He's staggering. Go down, go down. Go down.
He's going down.
Yes! Woo! Yeah! Yesterday, Matt and Grant and Nick found this great big framed 4x3 muley. He's got a real big back, right fork, big swooping beams, heavy, dark. And we've located him in the valley. We've been hunting all year, right where Joel shot his muley, Grant shot his muley, not far from where Nick shot his muley. We got my dad here who had the tag, and we spotted him in his low spot. He covered about 3/4 of a mile over to here, fought another buck, came all the way back here. We watched him walk along the slough bottom for a while. There on the other side of the valley, we watched him. The deer finally made his way out to the field where they are, and my dad just smacked them in the bottom here. So we saw him go down. I believe it's all on camera. We're gonna work our way out there and get a better look at him, but stay tuned.
Good job, big boy. Good job. He came out of the bush right over here, And then he kind of quartered a little bit, and then I thought, well, here's my chance.
How far was he from you?
It couldn't have been far.
Oh, just over 100 maybe, I don't know. Against the bush line.
Great.
Then he headed for that
Oh, yeah,
bush
he was
line,
massive on him.
turned around, came back, and I thought I better shoot him again.
So it's 2017, November 23rd today. This morning, my Uncle Craig, my dad, and Jamie got a nice muley. Uncle Craig was drawn with my dad. Fortunately, we didn't get that one on film. We looked all day for this guy because Grant and Nick and Matt had found him a couple days ago and seen him twice. And we knew he had a really big frame and he was heavy. So me and Matt stuck in this area all day today, and we were able to find him. So we called my dad, Craig and Jamie, and got him here. Took about probably 45 minutes to an hour to actually get him down, but we watched him work all through this valley. We saw him fight another buck. Ended up coming back to where we originally almost seen him. We were on one side of the valley. My dad, Craig, and Jamie were on the other side of the valley. And we watched him work this edge of the slough bottom. And he ended up coming out, and my dad was able to take him.
He came out, I was about 120 yards away. I was just about to give up. I'm sitting over there grunting a little bit, grunting and watching, and then I kept thinking what the last thing Craig said was he at the edge of the grass over there. So I thought, well, then he hasn't crossed, he's probably still there, eh? And then he just kind of squirted it out and turned a little bit, just enough to take the bullet.
The Fever is brought to you by Stampede Toyota, APA Archery, PJ Trailers, Stealth Cam Digital Scouting Cameras, Traeger Wood-Fired Grills, Vortex Optics, Affordable Hydrovac, K&K Food Liners, Al's Hot Shot and Trucking Services, Domax Construction Equipment, Smith Game Calls, and these other fine partners. For more on The Fever, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.